Hi guys, Ian Johnson from drivesuccess.com. Today I want to talk to you guys about why customers use stall tactics. Why they use stall tactics and objections and roadblocks when you're doing a cold call, and why they all of a sudden pull these things out right in the middle of a negotiation or you're just about to get the order and the customer puts on the brakes, okay? So I want to basically talk about why customers do that, okay? I'm going to cover 3 essential reasons why customers basically use stall tactics, and I'm going to give you some insight into what those customers are thinking. Before I get to those 3, I just want to basically review what I've done in other videos, because I think some of those other videos on cold calling and handling objections and handling roadblocks, those are important videos, and I'm just going to basically go over what I covered in the other videos very briefly, very quickly, and some links will appear above my head and allow you to basically go see some of those after this video, okay? So the first video I did was how to structure your cold call. This is after you've gotten past the customer objection. You're actually into a discussion with the customer. And in that video what I did was I talked about the importance of defining your value proposition, okay? Every company has a value proposition. Your company has a value proposition. But it's common for the most senior people in your company to understand that value proposition better than perhaps a newer salesperson that just came on board. So they need to understand that value proposition. That's the first portion. The second portion is understanding the specific customer fears and concerns in your industry and how coming up with a list of those fears and concerns that your customers have. And then the third portion of that video is how to ask leading questions. So essentially you use those leading questions to get your customer to talk about their fears and concerns in order to tie it into your value proposition. Now a link for that video on how to structure your cold calls popped up above my head a couple of seconds ago. That's a good video to watch in order to understand how you structure your cold call after you've gotten past the objection. Another video I did concerned about how you handle customer objections on that cold call. When you first get on the phone, what do you do when a customer says it's not a good time? What do you do when a customer says he's about to go into a meeting? What do you do when a customer says, you know, I can't speak to you right now, or I'm very busy? So that's another good video. And the link for that video just popped up above my head as well. That's a good video to watch because that's important for salespeople to understand how to handle those customer objections. And finally, the third video that I did was when salespeople themselves actually create customer objections by being too polite. And in that case, what they do is they get on the phone and they say, "Hi, how you doing today?" Well, the customer is going to get off the phone. They're never doing well. Is now a good time? No, it isn't. Click. Do you have a couple of minutes? No, I don't. Click. Should I call you back? Absolutely. Click. So those are situations where a salesperson creates the objection. And the link for that video popped up above my head a couple of seconds ago as well. So these are 3 videos that you might want to review. Now in today's video, what I want to talk to you guys about is why customers use those objections. Why do customers put up those roadblocks? The first one is control. Okay? Now, think about yourself. When you go to buy something at a store, you want to have the final say. You want to have control over the decision to purchase, okay? So you may be going along talking to a salesperson and everything is great, and then all of a sudden you're going to go, whoa, wait a minute. You're not actually going to say that, but in your mind you're going, wait, I'm not ready, okay? So control is important. The customer is just simply not ready. All right, and you have to keep this in mind because it's very common for a customer to throw up an objection that has absolutely nothing to do with why they don't want to move forward. For instance, your company could have fantastic quality on products. You could be well known throughout the industry for excellent quality products. And a customer may just not want to move forward. They want to seize control back from the salesperson, so they say something about your quality. Now, it's obvious that that's not the real concern, but if you don't handle it properly, you may overcompensate for it or react negatively to that statement as a salesperson and say, that's absolutely ridiculous, our quality is fantastic. And right away, you've created friction between yourself and your customer. So understand that a customer uses control because the best salespeople subtly take control from the customer and they guide them towards a decision in the salesperson's favor. So when a customer all of a sudden realizes that they're kind of not in control as much anymore, or at least the salesperson is guiding them towards making a decision and they're not ready yet, they're going to slam on the brakes and they're going to say, you know what, I'm not ready just yet. They're saying that in their mind, but what comes out of their mouth is something else entirely, and you need to kind of understand that. So control. The customer's not ready. Confront it, and then move forward. The second thing is trust. The second reason customers use objections is trust. Now, one of the things that happens is a lot of salespeople, when they're working for a well-recognized company and they're first starting out and the whole market knows who they are, they automatically assume that because they're working for a well-recognized company, that all of the customers should know them. And that's not actually what we're talking about when it comes to trust. There's a personal level of trust. You may be working for the best company in the market, you may have the best products and services, but your customer doesn't know you personally. They don't know you as an individual. They don't know how you're going to handle them as a customer. So that's where trust comes in. The reason why customers throw up these roadblocks is because they may not trust the process. They may not trust you. So how do you handle that? Well, with control, you want to basically reiterate what you've done with the customer. Okay? With trust, you want to say, you know what, Mr. Customer, I understand that you and I haven't worked together and perhaps you're a little bit concerned about this. What I'm thinking that's happening right now is that you're very concerned about this portion of the proposal. Am I right? Help me out. So don't be afraid to basically confront the trust issue and help the customer move forward. So when it comes to these first two, it's important to understand that what comes out of the customer's mouth may not necessarily be what they're thinking. Okay? So trust. I can't trust you yet. Okay? So you want to allay the customer's fears, you want to directly confront the issue and move forward. The third reason is what's called devil's advocate. Okay? Now, we can call it another thing, too good to be true. Okay? Now, what happens in this case? Well, a lot of times a customer may be really interested in what you have to offer, but there's a part of them that's just trying to rationalize a decision not to move forward. They're actually saying to themselves, you know what, I know it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. So what they'll end up saying is they may say something along the lines of, I've heard about you guys, I know exactly what you guys offer, but I've heard that, you know, your pricing isn't competitive, or that you're always late on delivery, or that your quality is suspect. In that case, the customer is not saying he's not interested. The customer is not saying not to proceed. The customer is just basically trying to find some reason not to move forward. And they're hoping that you will provide them that reason. Even if they're not cognizant or aware of it themselves, what they are doing in essence is they're basically trying to rationalize a decision not to move forward. Okay? So they're trying to rationalize a decision not to move forward. Okay, they're trying to be able to say, you know what, I knew it. As soon as I get off the phone, they want to be able to say, I knew it. It was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to be true. I knew the guy couldn't do it. So they're rationalizing the decision not to move forward. Okay? Now, you need to understand why a customer does that. And it's entirely different from when a customer says, I'm completely not interested. Think about when a customer is not interested in what you have to offer. They make it clear, they make it understood, and they immediately get off the phone, or they might even end the meeting. Now, I'm not saying that you confront them and be rude, but understand that what they're doing here when they get on the phone with you or when they're in a meeting and they say something along the lines of, you know, I've heard about you guys, but I've heard this or I've heard that. What they're doing is they're asking you indirectly to prove it to them. Now, don't be rude, don't be aggressive, confront the issue and say, Mr. Customer, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've heard that too. However, we have found when customers use our product that these are the benefits that have taken place. And if you want, you can actually speak to some of these people. So understand why customers use stall tactics. They use it to gain control, seize control back from you. They use it because they may not trust you or they may not trust the process. And they use it because in their minds, it may be too good to be true, and they're looking for a reason not to move forward. So that's it. Why do customers use stall tactics? Check out those earlier videos I mentioned at the beginning of this video. They're good resources to use. That's it. Take care. Ian Johnson, driveyoursuccess.com. Bye-bye.